Hi there, my name is Suzanne, and in this video I'll be talking about stress in the project Stressing Me Out. So Hans once says that stress is the physiological response that occurs when an organism fails to respond appropriately to emotional and physical threats. So when someone is facing stress, the body takes them through three stages. The first one is alarm. In this stage, the body releases stress hormones, including cortisol, to bring the person to the next stage, which is resistance. Here, the body adapts to the ongoing threat and tries to return it to normal function. So the glucose level increases and sustains the energy, and the blood pressure actually increases. After resisting, the body will face the last stage of stress, which is called exhaustion, where the body, like, it's running out of its reserves of energy and immunity. The blood sugar level decreases, the tolerance of stress also decreases in the body, so the person will have progressive mental and physical exhaustion, illness, and collapse. So the body organs fail, and eventually illness or death occurs. So here are some definition, and the first one is fight and flight response to stress. So this one, it is an emotional and behavioral reaction to stress that increases the readiness for action. Like when you're facing stress, you're like you should attack someone or aggress someone. So it is actually mainly used by men when they think that they are able to have control on the source of their stress, or if they can't, it helps them to save face from the situation. Also, we have the tend and befriend response, which is a behavioral reaction to stress that involves activities designed to create social network that provide protection from threat. Actually, when the person is facing stress and they try to use this approach, it is like they go out there, they talk to someone, and it helps them by opening up. Yeah, so this may be helpful to explain why women on average they have less heart disease and are living longer than men, because they are most likely to use this response, the response tend and befriend response, but men, they are actually used to fight and flight response. So we also have another one, which is optimism. It is a general tendency to expect that positive outcome are going to come out. Finally, it is been finding that optimism people are happier and have less stress because they believe that everything will just be okay. So we also have self-efficacy, which is the belief in the ability of the person to carry out the situation and find some actions which are going to be made to produce desired outcome from the stress. So it has been shown that people with high self-efficacy respond to environment and other threats in an active, constructive way by getting information, talking to friends, and attempting to face and reduce the difficulties they are experiencing. Here, you just think that you are in control of what you are going through or your stresses, and you can step them anytime. So there is also hardiness, which is a tendency to be less affected by life stresses, which helps the relationship, like, between optimism and self-efficacy. So hardy individuals are those who are more positive overall about potentially stressful life, and who take more direct action to understand the causes of negative events which are happening to them, and who attempt to learn from them what may be the value or what they can get out of the stress they are going through. So they use effective coping strategies, and they take better care of themselves. So stress in the long run and the short run, it can have effect on someone. So in the short time, uh, if the stress, when you're having stress, I mean in the short time, you can have headache, you can have muscle tension or pain, you can have chest pain, you can have fatigue, you can have stomach upset and sleep problems. And in the long run, stress if stress is not managed, it can cause or lead someone to heart disease, digestion problem, memory and concentration impairment. Yeah. So stress also damages our DNA, making the body less likely to be able to repair wounds and respond to the genetic mutation that cause diseases. So that means that someone who has a wound and they have stress, the wound will be likely to heal in to heal slowly, and that person is more likely to get cancer. So chronic stress is a major contribution to heart disease. So heart problems are caused in part by genetic factors or by high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and cigarette smoking, but it is also caused by stress. So long-term stress creates two opposite effects on the coronary system. Stress increases cardiac output. It means that the heart pumps too much blood, and at the same time it reduces the ability of the blood vessels to conduct the blood through the arteries, as as it is going also to increase the level of cortisol, which is going to lead to build up a plaque on artery walls. The combination of cortisol and the increased blood flow and the arteries constriction leads to increased blood pressure, which is called hypertension, which can damage the heart muscle and lead to heart attack or death. So cortisol is the hormone of stress that releases sugar in the blood, helping preparing the body to respond to threats and to know how to cope with them actually. So it is really good to cope with stress, because managing it is going to give peace of mind or help the person to live longer and healthier. So here are some strategies that someone can apply to deal with stress. The first one, the person can choose to write or to write what they are going through, because it is going to help them to feel like I'm understanding better what I'm living. And the second one, the person can choose to use the fight and flight response or turn and befriend response. So they can also go to their hobbies, do something that they feel like the good in them, like music or talking to someone, practicing yoga or I don't know, meditation, something which is going to help them get relaxed. So for me, once I've been in stress, when I came to Kepler, I was stressed first by the program. I used to be in a French program, and then switching to an English program, it was really difficult for me, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? And it is really stressful for me. I could not find sleep. I could have insomnia. I could not follow in class. And I decided, as I saw that I could not help myself, I went to the counselor of the school, and she gave me some tips of self-confidence and how to act when I'm feeling that the stress is also coming again. So I won over it because I chose to talk to someone. And another way that I failed to cope with stress is once I was in love with someone and I saw that the person started acting out as if they're ignoring me, they don't want to see me, and I was really not feeling it good. I started having heart pressure and I was having hypertension, and my mother once heard me in my room. I was breathing so bad, and she decided to bring me to the hospital. So I could not talk to it to someone because I was feeling like it is really heavy and I couldn't share it with someone else. So I was sweating, I was crying, I was very bad. So when she brought me to the hospital, the doctor told me like I should stop thinking too much and I should find someone else to talk to so that they may help me to go through what I'm going. So thank you. That is how you can deal with your stress, by talking to someone or by going to your hobbies and try to see life in another dimension. Thank you.